Corky Coconut. Corky Coconut is one of the Munch Bunch. He lives in an old coal scuttle next door to Rosie Raspberry. He's a very friendly coconut, but he is also very clumsy. Sometimes his friends cannot understand him because he talks in a language known as rhyming slang. One day, Lucy Lemon and Pippa Pear invited Corky to a picnic in the wood. "Thanks, I'd love to come," said Corky. "I'll meet you there in a little while. Hope the old currant bun comes out, eh?" In Corky's language, currant bun means sun, but poor Lucy Lemon could never understand him when he spoke in his rhyming slang. As Corky was on his way to the picnic, he passed Emma's house. She was trying to fix her washing line. "You look a bit of a 2 and 8, Emma," said Corky. "I'll help you." "Bit of a 2 and 8? Queried Emma. "What does that mean?" 2 and 8, bit of a state," Corky replied. But as Corky went to take hold of the broken washing line, it slipped through his big hands, and all the clean washing landed on the ground. Emma was very angry. Corky apologized and decided he had better go. He then met Aubrey Aubergine outside his castle. "I say, old chap," said Aubrey, "would you carry these paint tins for me? They're rather dirty." "Glad to help out, Aub," said Corky. "You don't want to spoil your good whistle and flute, do you?" In Corky's language, whistle and flute means suit. Aubrey led the way over the drawbridge and waited for Corky at the door. But when Corky reached the drawbridge, he tripped over his big feet and the tins of paint went flying into the air and landed right on Aubrey Aubergine's head. Aubrey was absolutely furious because he hates to get dirty. Poor Corky mumbled his apologies and hurried away. Next, he saw Pete Pepper sawing some wood. "Can I help, Pete?" he offered. "Yes, you can," Pete replied. "This wood is really hard to saw. Can you saw it for me, please?" So Corky started to saw, but he did not realize he was sawing through the wood and Pete's table. "You great hairy oaf!" shouted Pete Pepper. "Look what you've done. Go away. Leave me alone." Corky was most upset. He was only trying to help. A little later, he saw Merv Marrow in his new boat on the river. "Will you keep hold of the rope until I tie the sail on, please, Corky?" shouted Merv. "Of course," replied Corky. "I'd be pleased to help." So Corky rushed to catch hold of the rope. But just then, a gust of wind caught the sail and tugged the rope right out of Corky's hand. "Oh no! I'm sorry, Merv," cried Corky. But by then, the sail had blown up into the sky. "We'll have to chase after it," shouted Merv. Meanwhile, Lucy and Pippa had set up the picnic and were waiting for Corky to arrive. But that naughty Dick Turnip and the Turnip Gang had seen all the lovely food and decided to steal it. "Stand and deliver," demanded Dick. Just as they were about to grab the food, Merv's sail dropped out of the sky right on top of them. Dick and his gang struggled to get out, but the more they struggled, the more tangled they became. By now, Corky and Merv, who had been following the sail, were just arriving. Lucy quickly explained what Dick Turnip and his gang had been trying to do, so Merv tied them all up in his sail and took them off to jail. "Thanks, Corky," said Pippa. "You saved us from that nasty old turnip." So at long last, Corky sat down to enjoy the picnic. "This is a bit of all right," said Corky as he ate Pippa's cakes. "Lovely cups of Rosie Lee, Lucy." As usual, Lucy did not understand him, but just smiled. "A cup of Rosie Lee, my dear Lucy, means a cup of tea in Corky's language," explained Pippa. Corky had had a very eventful day, but he did prove that being clumsy does have its rewards. Sometimes.